It is Saturday, the 3rd of May, 2025, and this morning I'm going to be I'm going to be sharing. This is a really interesting video. I started watching this a couple weeks, 2 weeks ago when it first came out. Only one like by me. I just can't even believe it. But the account is "There a glitched bustle in your hedgerow," and decoding the matrix, mind, consciousness, and the hidden truth. And it decodes, so it gives an interpretation of the Book of Wisdom by Harry B. Joseph, which I do have audiobook. Actually, I'll stop sharing. No, I'll share this, but you can also go on archives and for free also read the book, which is very interesting. I don't believe in everything that is said, but it's fascinating and there's a lot of truth.
The light of the body, the eye behind the body. It's the eye behind the thoughts. Yes, the mental plane is the plane of thoughts, but you are the eye experiencing the thoughts. You are the eye behind the thoughts, behind the emotion, behind the words. Deep, deep down within your being, there is the all-seeing eye, which the body obeys. Everything the eye says, the body does. This is the eye in between the two pillars, or in between the sun and the moon in the Masonic artwork. Sun, masculine, left brain. Moon, feminine, right brain. The all-seeing eye in the middle, consciousness, the eye, the order, the intelligence, the infinite potential within you, the creative force within you that can create the good and the bad, the left and the right. So you are either creating negative or good. You're even doing good, which is God, or evil, or the devil, which is do evil. You have this creative ability within you, which is God, the consciousness, and you have the choice to do the devil or the God. So the third eye is the human mind. It's the mind. It's the infinite awareness, infinite potential within you. And when you see it in the triangle, it represents the ethereal plane. This is the ethereal, the triangle. This is the eternal. This is the material. Because the physical plane is the box. It's the square. That's why we say think outside of the box. Because you've got to think outside of the box to awaken your divinity. You see, humans have been given the tools to awaken to their true divinity. No other animal on this planet, or whatever you think it is, on the earth, has the ability to have self-awareness. Humans have been given the tools to understand the very, very complex things and understand who we are, what we are, and what the universe truly is on a higher level, not just physical. We have the ability to access planes, physical world, which is unlike any other animal. This is why the humans are gods. So when you see the pyramid with the capstone on top, it's cut off, it's separate from the rest of the pyramid. This is the consciousness that is looking through the ether into the material plane. It's like I discussed down here with these planes. This is the eye, the mental plane. Your consciousness, your eye is looking through the ether. It materialized through the ether into the physical plane, and you are now the eye looking into the material realm. And when you come here, you lose that divinity, but you have to awaken. So you don't lose the divinity, you forget your divinity while you are incarnated in physical. So when you see the triangle with the eye in it, this represents the eye looking through the ether. It's materialized, but it also represents when you see it's illuminated like this and it's separate, because this is separate from the physical plane. The consciousness within you, the thoughts within you, that intelligence within you, that voice is separate from this physical world. And everything above manifests below. Everything what happens in this realm of consciousness, of thought, manifests into the physical plane. It's separate. So you see the illumination. This represents the awakened self, because the mind is the third eye. So when you have a closed third eye, this just means that your mind has not experienced things other than physical. When you expand your mind, expand your consciousness from having an out-of-body experience or a mystical experience where you had experienced a higher plane of consciousness or a higher level of consciousness, this is now an open third eye, which is an opened mind. It's nothing separate. So when people say, working and opening the third eye by imagination and stuff like that, you're working on your mind. And to open your third eye, you do need to work on imagination, mental discipline, and all of these higher faculties, which we'll go over in another video. So that your mind has higher faculties which you need to work on. Visualization being one of them, imagination, and mental willpower. We'll go over that. But the illuminated eye in a triangle represents the illuminated mind, the awakened mind that has self-consciousness. It's conscious of itself and it's experienced higher planes of consciousness. Like I said, the I and the idea. So when you see I on the beginning of words, it represents that inner self, that inner cosmic intelligence within yourself. That's why you say inside, intelligence, or idea. It's the idea, the all-seeing eye. This is why the Roman numerals, I was one. And what is one? It's one line. The I is also one line. Because we are all the same intelligence with the same consciousness. If the universe is one, there's only one being in the universe, which is God. And we are all expressions and fractals of God. We are all manifestations of God. We share the same creative power as God. We all have the ability to bring non-physical thoughts into a physical reality, which is the word made flesh in the Bible. So when you see covering the eye with the 666, this represents the eye stuck in matter, worshipping the physical body, the God in flesh, which is Satan. Satan represents God in flesh, yourself in flesh, because evil love bondage. And everything these artists and actors are doing, they're part of these cults. They're promoting materialism to keep your eye, your consciousness, stuck in three-dimensional awareness. So this is what they're promoting. You see that the hand symbol creates 666, which is your body, the carbon. Your body's created out of carbon. And all life forms are created out of carbon. The I in it, the I in the 666, represents I being in material, keeping the mind in material. Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if thine eye be single, thy whole body should be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body should be full of darkness. You see,
I like to verify these things, and so I'm going to stop sharing, and I will show the Bible quote that they're quoting, because again, I do like to fact check even these types of books so that I don't go down rabbit holes that I have no business going down. And so I had searched. Look here, it's Matthew 6 verse 22. And so he shared both verses, Matthew 22 and 23, but the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. This is what I'm saying when you have that Ida Pingala connection, or the milk and honey, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, when it's connected, and when we can access our third eye, going beyond third dimension, fourth dimensional beings, then this is when we become illuminated or enlightened. These are where these terms come from. And even the term Christian, or it comes from Christos, Latin, oil, Greek oil. That's what it meant. And this predates, like, oh my goodness, the Hebrew language, that religion, and so many other religions, and that's where we got it from. And the oil for the enlightened people. That's why people, when they become anointed or baptized or do their communions, rather, they have that oil on the forehead. That's that representation of accessing your third eye. And the whole creation story with the Bible, I believe, is the story about accessing that, being illuminated through works, and doing things like trying to follow or abide by the 10 Commandments as close as possible. Living a life where you have balance with what we would call the 7 deadly sins. And managing that piece. I won't get too much into that because it's already long enough. But Matthew 6:23, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee, if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 6:24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. And mammon in this case means material wealth. It means material things. It means greed. I'm just going to give I had it up before, like, for my search. Yeah, it's commonly thought to mean money, material wealth, or any entity that promises wealth. And so idolizing a false god or prophet, like we are doing when people don't have that religious framework or foundation, or even a philosophical foundation or framework that's tied into our legal frameworks, our laws, our rules of governance. There's the chance or the risk, and I've talked about this in many videos before, when you compare religions, the pros and cons, and how it's incorporated or into systems of governance, and how it's affected people throughout the ages. And anyway, a lot of lessons can be learned about the creation story and how to become enlightened. And it's not through what the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Gates and the Carneys are pushing, the Schwabs. Like, this is not the answer to become illuminated, which is the It's the game. No. So this is the Book of Wisdom that I was sharing before. A lot of good stuff in here. It's a short book. Tells you how to access your energy bodies in order to, again, access your third eye or your one eye. They say third eye, but I guess it's your one eye. I don't know. All right. Decoding the Matrix. All right. Here we go.
This is a very powerful verse. A very powerful verse. The light of the body is the eye. This is the first part of the verse. This is where everything comes from. The mind. The infinite mind. The infinite potential within you. Think of anything in your mind. Nothing is impossible in your mind. As soon as you think of it, it's there. It's infinite potential. It's the light of the body, because the mind is what gives life to the body. It manifests its will through the body. It's the light. All the things that the body does happens mentally before it happens physically. Before you move your hand, it is a mental power. Just like when you astral project. When you astral project, you use your mind to move your body. It's mental. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body should be full of light. So what does that mean? Becoming one with the consciousness within you. The single eye. Instead of being divided between the left and the right, the masculine and the feminine, instead of being divided between the high and lower self, when you combine all the aspects of yourself to be balanced and connect with the true self, that's when the whole body should be full of light, which is the good, the enlightenment. But if the eye be evil, which means what? Because your eye, your consciousness, your mind has the ability to create positive or negative, devil or the god. And when you think negative, what happens? Darkness goes through the body. Every thought has an effect on the body. What you think goes through the body. For example, become erect. What do? You think of being erect, and it happens, the body becomes erect. What happens in the mind happens in the body. So if your eye is evil, if you are thinking negative, if you feel negative, you're going to produce negative. Your body will be full of darkness. And this is what the all-seeing eye is. It represents you, your consciousness within you that can create anything in this physical world. So yeah, so if you have any questions, make sure to contact me, and I will get it created for the university. Thank you all for joining, and see you in the next one. The earth has become a realm in order to trap souls within so that they can harness our electricity, our energy. Even the Bible is talking about how this realm is controlled by the wicked one in John 5:19. We know that we are the children of God and that the whole world is under the control of the evil one. Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. So the Bible is telling us that this is not the only world. There are other worlds, there are other realms that we can go to, considered as heaven. Heaven being a higher realm where there is no evil, no darkness. This is a midpoint realm where there is good and evil. Now, we're going to explain how the soul trap is how it's working, and how your soul is being harnessed for its energy, and how you are tricked to come back to this realm after death. What you need to understand is first is that you are the invisible intelligence behind the physical body. You are the mind and soul. The soul is the true you, the good you. It is pure love, pure bliss, eternal, never dies. The mind can be corrupted, though. The mind is the intelligence of the soul. It is invisible. It has no true form. The intelligence inhabits the brain. The brain is the computer to control the electrical machine called the nervous system, which is choice, program, and action. You are the invisible intelligence behind the body. And this will prove it even more. You do not even see into the external world. You are seeing an image produced by the brain, because the light is being sucked through the retinas of the eyes. The image is produced in the visual cortex at the back of the brain. What does this mean? This means that we are the consciousness in the center of the brain, in the pineal gland. that is experiencing the program being ran by the central nervous system in the brain. This is the sigil of Lucifer. Lucifer in Latin is Lucy. Lucy is light in Latin. Lucifer is known as the light bearer. This is how the eyes work, people. It's not a demon or a devil. The sigil for Lucifer is how the eyes work, and how the left eye is controlled by the right brain. The right eye is controlled by the left brain. There is a crossover. It's the same with the body. The left side of the body is controlled by the right brain. The right side of the body is controlled by the left brain. There's a crossover with our hemispheres in the brain. Now, this empty chamber in the center of the brain is where this universal cosmic intelligence is held, known as the most holy place in the Bible, the throne of God. Okay, this is above the 33 vertebrae on the spine. As you can see here, you are the being in the center of this point. All of the nerves are being sent back to this one particular point, which is which is the seat of our invisible intelligence. You can see it's an empty chamber. Our consciousness, our intelligence is not a physical thing. This intelligence is the true voice inside of your head. This is why your head is heaven, your heart is earth, your heel is hell. Your head is heaven because this is the seat, the throne of God. God is in heaven because the consciousness, this divine intelligence that's controlling the body, is sat in the center of the brain. The brain is taking commands of this invisible intelligence. When you close your eyes, you can feel your awareness, your consciousness, your intelligence is all in the brain. Your awareness is not in the feet, the heart, the legs, the arms. It's all in the center of the brain. Now, if you meditate deeply, you will find that you are beyond the mind. You are the being observing the thoughts. You are the soul observing the thoughts. Now, with this being said, you are the consciousness experiencing the program being ran by the central nervous system in the brain, because you're not seeing into the external world. It's an image, it's a simulated image produced by the brain and the central nervous system. You do not experience the external world. You do not feel the external world. You feel electrical impulses on your nervous system. Your nervous system is decoding what you are feeling. So the only thing that you truly feel is the electrical impulses on your nervous system. This is why the nervous system is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because it gives your invisible intelligence, your mind, the knowledge of good and evil. It can detect good things, it can detect bad things. If it's hot, if it's warm, if I need to go, the nervous system is doing this. It is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay? Now, this universal intelligence is known as, is symbolized as the single eye. Okay? Matthew 18:9. It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes and to be thrown into the fire of hell. What does this mean? It's symbolic, it's metaphorical, people. It is metaphoric. Your universal intelligence is the single eye, the one eye. It's the balance between the two poles, between the left and the right, the good and the evil. It knows the right thing to do all the time. This is our inner guide. The inner self is the inner guide. And when you are operating your life off duality, using your two eyes, you'll be thrown into the fire of hell, lower states of consciousness, because you're split. You need to live in oneness, even, balance. Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. The light of the whole body is the eye. You are a light being. Human. Hue means an attribute of a color. Man is the word manifested. We are light manifested into physical form. Depending on your vibration is depending on what color that you are vibrating on, which is a hue, a human. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body should be full of light. Again, it's talking about the single eye, oneness, completeness. When you balance the hemispheres of the brain, we'll go over that later. But anyways, the body is the earth. This is what we need to understand, people. The body is running the simulation, the program that our consciousness is experiencing. So when we leave the body during death and astral projection, we leave the earth. This is how it works. The body is the vehicle for the earth, for this realm. Everything exists within our mind. You have the soul, mind, and body. The soul is the observer, the watcher, the true being. This is why she has many different heads, because the soul inhabits different bodies. This is the serpent, which means knowledge, which is the mind, wisdom. And this is the body, soul, mind, and body, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The mind is the bridge between the soul and the body. So what do I mean? When you astral project, you are using your mind to project your awareness, your observing consciousness outside of the physical body. The mind is the projector, projecting consciousness. By using your mind, you can project your consciousness outside of the body, which is known as the astral realms, which is known as walking on water. Jesus was never walking on physical water, people. It's metaphorical. Leaving the physical body. The water is the ether, which is the veil between the physical and the astral realm. It's a fluid substance. It's on either side. It's physical and astral. The ether is the fifth element that they hide from us. Why? Because they're trapping you in the physical. They are hiding all of these realms, etheric, astral, and mental. People think their mind is their brain. It's two separate dimensions. These are completely different dimensions. The mind is way more intelligent. The mind is formless. There is no form to the mind. You can think anything you want. You can manifest anything you want within your mind. It is not a physical object. The physical realm is being controlled by the mind. Everything's being controlled by the mind. Everything exists within the mind. This is why the Egyptian says the universe is mental. So when we project our consciousness outside of the physical, we go to the astral. The ether is the water that Jesus is walking on. This is the veil between the physical and the astral world. The word together has ether within it because it joins the two worlds together, together, the astral and the physical. The word either is ether because the ether is on either side, physical and astral, physical and spiritual, physical and non-physical. In the astral realm, the mind can manifest anything we want. We incarnate to restrict our minds. This is why Saturn, if you go and watch my video on Saturn, how Saturn is this simulation, okay, our minds can manifest anything we want in the astral plane in the click of a finger. However, when we incarnate in matter, we now have to labor for our manifestations. This is why Saturn's known as the great teacher in astrology, because he teaches you a lesson. When your mind incarnates into matter, it's teaching your mind a lesson, the knowledge of good and evil. This is why the Bible says, you shall be gods and know the knowledge of good and evil. When you incarnate here, you have to know the knowledge, you need to know the knowledge of good and evil to become a god. Okay? Now, the square is the physical plane, the triangle's the ethereal plane, the circle's the eternal plane. The circle has no beginning, no end, it's eternal. The physical plane is the square, it's limited. The square is limited. The cube is the geometric shape which gives rise to matter. Now, the term think outside the box has truth in plain sight. You have to think outside the box to project your consciousness, use your mind to project your consciousness outside of the box, the physical plane, into the astrals. The astral realm is the realm of the stars. Above us is the stars. Through the stars is the astral plane. This is why astral has the word star within it. The devil is the de-veil. When you sell your soul to the devil, quote unquote, it's metaphorical. The devil exists in the physical plane. It's the lowest state of consciousness. The de-veil, you de-veil yourself into the physical when you are the devil, the de-veil. The ethereal plane. Now, we also know what the famous symbol of the all-seeing eye, right? The all-seeing eye with the eye in the triangle. Look at the Masonic artwork showing you the triangle above in the sky. This is symbolizing the ethereal planes. The eye in the triangle symbolizes your invisible intelligence, your mind, which has the ability to see on either side. Because the triangle is the ethereal plane. The eye is your consciousness, your intelligence. And this intelligence has the ability to see in the physical plane and to see in the ethereal planes, in the astral planes. This is why it's above the earth, it's above the ground, because it can see here, it can see in the heavenly realms. Now, the stars are, well, this is known as heaven, the realms of the astral planes. This is some quotes from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Out of the darkness ye must rise upwards, one with the light and one with the stars. Man is in process of changing to forms that are not of this world. Grows he in time to the formless? a plane on the cycle above. So there's other worlds. The Bible's telling you there's other worlds, there's other realms. Know ye must become formless before ye are one with the light, the astral light above, which shining through the stars. Not of the earth are ye, earthy, but a child of the infinite cosmic light. You are the invisible intelligence controlling the physical body. The body's not you. It's the vehicle that your soul lands in when your mind projects your consciousness into that realm. Free from the body, I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the star space. Wow, that's powerful. The star space, the astral planes. This is what he's talking about. We are all a star. We descended from the astrals, which is the star. We are all a star. Look at the ancient paintings of Jesus' birth. It's the star beaming his consciousness down into the physical plane. Here's another one. Here's some Freemasonic artwork showing you, again, the ether, that invisible intelligence, the I, manifesting itself inside of here, in the physical realm, where the people are. You see? It's the same here. This is Jesus. The bird symbolizes the Holy Spirit, your invisible intelligence, descending into the waters, the ether, the ethereal, everything. The ether is the base of all physical matter. His Truth in Plain Sight, Mr. Bean, the famous TV program in England, in the UK. He begins the program like we all begin the program for falling from the stars. He falls down with a beam of light. And this is Truth in Plain Sight. This is false. Aliens don't exist. They're a lie, alien. But this symbolizes the star beaming our consciousness. And when we die, this star will suck us back up, just like this UFO is doing. It's Truth in Plain Sight. So this is some more Freemasonic artwork, going from duality to singularity. Sun, moon, masculine, feminine. Right hemisphere, feminine, left hemisphere, masculine. The consciousness in the center, the balance point. Here's another more Freemasonic artwork. The two pillars, left and right hemispheres, and the invisible intelligence between the left and right hemispheres, the light of the body. This is why light's coming off it. Because it's light, it's pure light. The blazing star. The stairs go from the checkered board, the duality, up to oneness, in between the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine. This is symbolizing going into oneness. What did the Emerald Tablet say? You've got to become one with the stars, one with the one with the self. Balancing the two hemispheres so that you can gain, because when the two hemispheres are balanced, you can gain a more deeper connection with your invisible intelligence. Same with the chakras. When the chakras, the seven seals in the Bible, these are seven seals because when you conquer the seven chakras, when you balance the seven chakras, you then gain a more deeper connection with your internal self because your mind is not fulfilled. It's not being ran. It's not being dominated by these seven deadly sins, the seven seals, the seven chakras. These are seven energy centers which are concealing our true form. Balance makes us have a stronger connection with our true cosmic intelligence. Heaven is even. This is why Jesus is pointing at the heart. The even point is the heart. You've got to balance the chakras and live from the heart because the heart is the earth. You're in good and evil. The body manifests the lower and the higher self. The higher self is in the higher parts of the body, wisdom, intuition, expression. The lower self is in the lower parts of the body, sex, food, and power. This is how they are trapping your soul, people. Like I said, the mind is the bridge between the soul and the body. So by tricking the mind, not giving it the right knowledge, and keeping the mind stuck in the lower three senses, thinking about power, food, and sex, this is low vibrating energy. It's going to keep your mind addicted to the physical realms. Okay? This is why you need to go even, balance, heaven. Okay? I will explain the soul trap in a second, how it fully works. But I'm telling you all the science behind it so you can understand. When you are doomed, you are domed. This is the dome, the firmament, the firmament, the mind. Ment is mind, firm is firm. A firmament is doomed under the firmament. You must have a loose mind, an open mind to expand your consciousness beyond the stars, beyond the ethereal barrier. You have to vibrate higher than this world. Your consciousness must be expanded more than the physical plane. You need to learn how to astral project. You need to learn how to leave the body, how to operate outside of the body, so that when you do leave the body, you will have recognition, you will have knowledge, you will have practice. But this is as above, so below. The woman's belly is the earth. It's as above, so below. It's a microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the children in the womb. We are the people in the earth being ready to be born into the heavenly realms. As above, so below. It's a microcosm, macrocosm. Everything is in everything on a bigger and a smaller and a larger scale. Now, when the baby figures out that there is a world beyond its mother, what happens? The baby starts to move around and tries to get out of the mother. Because once it starts to hear the external world, starts to hear people, it's going to wonder, what's outside of why am I in here? What's outside? So the baby will force its way out of the mother. It's the same with our minds, as above, so below. When our minds figure out that there are other realms beyond this world, we will seek a way out. This is the womb, the mother earth, mother nature. It's the mother. We're in the womb. We can be born out of this world, which is being born again in the Bible. When you are doomed, you are domed under the dome, under the firmament, the firm mind. The firm mind will keep you under the firmament. Due to the law of polarity, there has to be other realms. There has to be. Because the law of polarity works in this world, and it will work on every scale possible. It's universal laws. These are universal laws. The law of polarity means that there are other realms polarizing this realm. There is a hell, there is a heaven. There is a midpoint, which is Midgard, which is the one we are in now. Earth, heart. Earth is the heart. Heart is the center, good and bad. The balance between good and bad. Your reality is your level of realization. Your mind realizes other worlds, you will seek a way to them worlds. It's that simple. The soul trap is to keep you stuck in this physical body, which is the earth. This body is the earth. It's running the program, like I said at the beginning. It's running the simulation that your consciousness is experiencing. You are an electromagnetic being, and you're hidden in a cage, your rib cage, and you're stuck in cells, the prison cells. You're in cells. We produce electromagnetic energy. Your soul produces this energy. And by trapping your consciousness inside of this physical realm, they harness this energy within the astral realms. They're using you to manifest demons, because your mind creates demons through emotions and mental thought energy, which is a whole nother video. I can make a video on that. You're manifesting everything for them because they're trying to create a hive mind. This is why they want everyone to believe in one belief system, one government, one belief system, one religion, because they're creating a hive mind. This hive mind will manifest and be summoned within the astral planes, because the mind manifests the astral plane. The astral plane is the realm of imagination. The mental plane is the realm of just thought alone. The etheric plane is the energy. The physical plane is the matter. So all of our minds together are manifesting these demons within these subconscious realms, the astral. Now, how are they keeping you stuck to this realm? Well, when you die and you're stuck in your lower three chakras, okay, when your mind and soul detaches from the body, which is the earth, when you leave the earth, you're still going to have these mental addictions to the food, the sex, the materialism, the phone, the cigarettes, everything. This is why they get you addicted to everything possible. The TikTok, the YouTube, they get you addicted to as many things possible. Because when your mind is addicted to these things, and when this mind leaves the physical body, you're still going to have these addictions. Okay? You're still going to have these thoughts. And you will be manifested into the lower astral realms because you're thinking materialistic, you're thinking negative, because your level of realization was your reality. You were manifesting hell on the earth. When you leave the body, you're going to manifest hell in the astral planes, which means you'll be vibrating on the very low, which will put you in the lower astral realms. So guess what? You're going to come back. You're going to come back into materialism. You're going to reincarnate. Because you haven't prepared for life after death. You must detach from the external world. Okay, moon is mind. The sun is the soul, the earth is the body, the moon is the mind. This is why we say lunatic. In your mind, you have a specific mood. Moon. Money, M-O-N, is the moon. Money exists in the mind. They get you addicted to the money. The Bible's telling you this. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's telling you of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Who knew that the Bible was this deep? Matthew 16:26, what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? James 4:4, don't you know that friendship with this world means enmity against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of this world, of the world, becomes an enemy of God. John 4:4, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. It's talking about the invisible intelligence. It's greater than the physical world. John 2:15, do not love this world, nor the things it offers you, because this world will create you to, if your mind has attachments to what this world offers, sex, money, and power, pretty much, you will reincarnate here. You will come back here, because when you leave the body, your mind will still have these addictions. Do not love the world, nor the things it has to offer you. All of this is in my newly published book. The paperback versions are now available. Finally, for all the people who have been waiting, the Book of Wisdom. All of this knowledge is inside of the Book of Wisdom. The paperbacks are available. There's worldwide shipping. You can get it anywhere, pretty much, any country. My new website, it's amazing. There's going to be some amazing products coming on the new website. But I thank you all for the support. Before I leave, I need to explain what is going on with the soul trap. Like I said at the beginning, the mind's the bridge between the soul and the body. The body's the realm. By tricking your mind with false knowledge, they are keeping your soul stuck to this realm. They get you addicted to all the physical things, and that is it. As soon as you're addicted and you die, you're going to come back. So by tricking your mind, which is the bridge between the realms, they keep your mind stuck within this body. They keep you in physicality. They deveil you, the devil, the deveil. Thank you all for the support, people. If you do want to join the Academy, all the links will be posted below this video for the book, The Academy. Thank you all for the support and have an amazing day. You are not breathing correctly. 98% of people only use a third of their lungs capacity, which is shallow breathing, which ages you, lowers your brain capacity, and also lowers your state of consciousness. So it's essential that you breathe consciously on a day-to-day basis, because this is what truly elevates your consciousness. I am going to give you the key for you to raise your consciousness just through breathing alone. Such a simple thing, but yet the most effective way for raising your state of consciousness and becoming more spiritually and mentally advanced. So tune in for this video, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and the symbolism behind breathing. Air is more than just air. It carries electromagnetic energy. So now I'm going to give you the science behind this spiritual truth. This invisible force is what sustains all physical life, providing the life force energy essential for existence. Electromagnetism. Everything is fed off electromagnetism. Your body is an electromagnetic battery. Now, we can prove that air carries electromagnetism just by doing a simple test, a simple scientific experiment, by getting liquid oxygen and pouring it between a north and south magnetic pole, two polar opposite magnets. We see that the liquid does not fall straight through it. It is sucked, it is magnetically attracted to these two opposing forces, opposing magnets. This is proof that air, liquid oxygen carries electromagnetism. When you are breathing electromagnetism, the essential life force behind all living.
And I believe that this electromagnetic reality that we are living in, this contained cosmos, is expressed via sound and light. Very important.
All living beings. This is known as energy or prana, chi, ether, or spirit. This is all the same thing. Air is not just empty space. It is energy. It is prana. It is life force. It is spirit. It is ether, chi, prana. You are an electromagnetic being. Your consciousness is in direct correlation with your electromagnetic aura or biofield around your body. Your state of consciousness is mirrored within this field around your body. Now, your breath, when you breathe in, you're breathing electromagnetism or life force. Breath is the vital link between the physical and the spiritual, bridging the body with the soul. Through breath, we connect with both tangible world and deeper, the unseen realms of energy and consciousness. Breathing deeply and properly elevates our consciousness, enhancing the brain's functions, heightening the sensitivity of our five senses. It also brings a profound calmness to the mind, creating a state of clarity and inner peace. Like I said earlier, breathing properly is the fastest way to elevate your consciousness. It is the fastest way because breathing, when you stop breathing, what happens? You lose physical consciousness. Your body will shut down if you do not breathe in this vital electromagnetic energy in the oxygen. If your body does not get this for 5 minutes or however you can last without breathing, this makes you lose physical consciousness. Your body will not survive without this essential life force energy. Therefore, air is one of the most overlooked things. This is why we see the symbolism of Buddha having a big belly. Why does he have a big belly? Because it's symbolizing breath work, proper spiritual breath work, the certain teachings of breath work, of when you breathe in through the nose, you have to breathe in through the nose. You don't want to breathe in through the mouth because the nose acts as a filter which catches dust particles and filters out the air before it enters the lungs. The mouth does not do that. The nose is for breathing inward. We breathe in through the nose. And
I totally agree with Johnny Death here. He's talking about flat Earth. Dave talks about electrostatics, but it works nothing like he and other FEs believe. This is where I've struggled as well, honestly, because I've tried to talk about this on Jaren's podcast on a couple of them, and my goodness, who else? I think I was on. I don't know if it was with Dave. He's brilliant, by the way. I love the guy. I absolutely adore him. And but again, my interpretation of electromagnetism and this being an electromagnetic reality, and absolutely having to look more into sound and light into that and how it's expressed and how they interact with the particles or matter, um, and based on different temperatures, pressures, and densities. But God, what's his freaking name? Anyways, there was a few others that I've tried to explain that I don't believe that this is what they're calling an electrostatic reality, and so many other things. But again, they're really smart on other things, and so I leave that for myself. And I do have a few videos on it, and if anyone is interested on my interpretation of this electromagnetic reality, and I have named Ken Wheeler as well because I'm not entirely like, and Ken Wheeler's a genius. So I'm not trying to say that I'm smarter than him by any means. Just to be clear, like there are things that he is way smarter than me on, and the videos that he has put out on magnetism and actually filming it and recording it, like this has been instrumental in people making those dots with the toroidal fields that contain this environment, and toroidal fields or magnetic fields that certain magnets make. And anyway, I could go on a tangent, but yeah, it's hard to have these discussions about electromagnetism, light and sound, or any of this stuff with anyone for that matter, because it's so complicated and there's no frame of reference in the literature to like really look towards that has like a really good combination of everything.
when we breathe in, we breathe into our belly, not our lungs. When we breathe into our belly and our belly expands outwards, we are then moving this energy down from the nose down the spinal column. And when we breathe back out, the belly goes in, which is raising the energy up the spinal column.
I do agree that these I don't know what you would call them, these particles, this mass, this matter, the smallest matter. I do believe that it vibrates. There's vibration, and there's absolutely like an electromagnetic current in there that is that can be stronger or weaker electrically or magnetically depending on the temperature, pressure, and density, if that makes any sense. And then even with different gas particles, for example, they become illuminated. And then even looking at magnets under different lights, whether it be infrared light versus ultraviolet light, you'll see like very clearly that even when people talking about dark matter, like this does not exist. It depends on the light the mechanism that you're looking at to observe it. And particles, yeah, that's actually a better word. I don't know why I was saying like matter and Anyway, but yeah, particles in the God part. The bottom line is really a made literally of plus and minus particles, which actually simplifies quantum physics. I totally agree with that. Like negative and positively charged particles. When there are particles that are added or removed, just like with light, when you remove electrons from light, for example, from elements, from gases, like when you ionize, they call it ionize, but when you remove, when the electrons got removed from like things like hydrogen and helium, like this is why they make up the majority of the what we call the Van Allen belts, but it's the toroidal fields. And it's largely what we would call positively charged particles. So, and then you've got the negative, more of the negatively charged particles, the lower you go in this cosmos. And yeah, it's really hard to wrap your head around. But Johnny Death, like you seem really friggin' smart on this stuff, and so yeah, if you could send me links or anything like that, I would definitely look at it.
Back out through the mouth. This is the true way of breathing, because when we breathe, we are moving energy. We are moving electromagnetic energy. When we breathe in through the nose, the energy travels down the spinal column. And when we breathe out, we are raising this energy back up the spine, some of it going out the mouth, and some of it reaching the brain, activating dormant brain cells in the brain. But when we breathe, we need to make sure we are using 100% of our lungs' capacity, because the lungs is what transforms this special energy into consciousness, physical consciousness. So this is why Buddha has a big belly. It's not because he was fat. It's not because he was overweight. It's symbolism. It's symbolism of breath work. So try this. Do this for 2 minutes while you watch this video. Breathe in through the mouth as hard as you can until you no longer can fill any more air into your lungs and belly. Breathe it into your belly, not your lungs. And breathe out through the mouth. Do this for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, however long. I promise you, breath affects your consciousness. You will notice the difference. If you do it quicker, the quicker it'll affect your consciousness, and you might go lightheaded. But that lightheaded is you activating your spirit, your energy body. So try this just by watching.
These are such great comments. I hope people are interested in this because, again, like this electromagnetic reality fascinates me. And so, also another comment made was when they say there's no container, they're wrong. I 100% agree with that. The container is particles under so much magnetic stress, they create a solid wall of gas, the same way a wall of stone stops you. Like, I just think that's very well said. And I hope that more people come on board with quantum physics and really look into electromagnetism and various particles, whether they be positively or negatively charged, or these elements that we're talking about. And it's just so freaking obvious too. Like when we talk about what you're saying, like the Van Allen belts, the toroidal fields, high radiation is what they call it, right? But it's very highly magnetized particles, or whatever you want to call it, positively charged particles. And we are in a pressurized environment as well, which also would necessarily require some kind of a containment, a container.
By when watching this video. When you breathe consciously, you are renewing both your energy body and astral body, aligning your consciousness with a higher state. This practice feeds new life force energy into the body, revitalizing and enhancing your overall well-being. Like I said, your brain requires the most amount of oxygen. When we have shallow breathing, this is reducing the brain's capacity. Because when we are not breathing properly, which 98% of people are only using a third of their lungs capacity, we are essentially only using a third of our consciousness, because your breath is directly correlated to your consciousness, your state.
And so with breath, even with meditation, the reason why people are like it's grounded, you're usually when you see the pictures depicted with people on ground or some kind of a surface, but this is also to assist with dissipating, like being overcharged, being overly electrically charged, or whatever you want to call it, or even magnetically charged. And the breathing that's used in meditation, it's very important. And I do meditations frequently. It really greatly assists me with managing my stress as well, especially when I'm looking into a lot of topics on international security stuff, right? Like it's all freaking negative, and Canada with our news, it's just, And so, but breathing deeply and through the nose. And if your nose is blocked, because a lot of people have blocked nostrils these days because we've been mouth breathing, so we've been breathing incorrectly. And so breathing in one nostril, out the other, and then reversing it, doing this multiple times a day, and then doing the heavy deep breaths through the nostrils, through both nostrils, and then holding that breath for as long as you can, and then releasing it, and then doing like really deep breaths, but with the lungs and the diaphragm, like through the stomach, as Buddha does as well. And so it's having to do a series of both of those, because our environment also is more poisoned, and so we're not getting the same quality of air, or whatever you want to call it, that we've gotten generations before, even in the last generation. And why? But especially in first world countries, whatever we're calling them, people are shredding our trees, millions of acres, like a year essentially. And it's around areas where it's heavily built up with not only humans, but there used to be other life forms in these areas, like insects. Bees are very important, butterflies, birds, insects, like I've said, and multiple other animals. And their ecosystems are being, and their biodomes, whatever you want to call it, completely being destroyed. And this impacts our air quality, right? So when people are talking about, oh, we're experiencing like these high heat events, this is absolutely connected to the trees not being around these areas now in the suburbs, the cities, and stuff like that. And then the smog, the electric smog as well. And we're going to see in Canada under Carney, we're going to be seeing more power outages and blackouts, and just like we do in other countries that became overdeveloped and very polluted. And the air quality in a lot of these areas, like India, it's very bad. And so my cousin, she went to India not last year, but the year before, and they had to leave early because her son was getting sick. He was sick. He almost died there because of the air quality. And that's not to be dramatic. These are actual facts. And so I just wish that people would plant more friggin' trees, try to unfudge their country, like that, and then move out to more rural areas instead of, you know, anyways, exploiting other countries that manage their lives better and manage their country better. And I mean that respectfully. And I'm going to count China in there as well. There's so many countries that are not managing their own homes at all. It's a complete shit show. And they're trying to come into our areas and be the experts on things like climate change and stuff like that. Spare me. Anyways, I went on a tangent, but apologies for that. But breathing, long story longer, very important.
Of consciousness. When you breathe in through the mouth, out through the mouth, out in through the nose, out through the mouth, consciously and deeply for 5 minutes, you will notice that your senses are more powerful and sensitive. Your brain is quicker. It produces, it's a, what's the word? It's processes information quicker. You become quicker. You become a superhuman, and you feel more spiritual because it activates your spirit, your astral and energy body. So when we meditate, it's definitely important to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as deeply as possible to align with a higher state of consciousness. And this is the easiest way to separate your consciousness from the body. When you breathe in deeply for long periods of time, while meditating, while taking no thought, when no thought is present and you gain a rhythm of deep breathing, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to opening your consciousness. Because when you stop thinking, other aspects of your consciousness can open up. All of our lives we've been thinking, which is blocked off the higher states of consciousness. So breathing is very, very important. It affects our overall well-being. And this is Yahweh, the in and the out of breathing. When we breathe in, this is Yah. You can hear it. It sounds like Yah. And when we breathe out, that is Way. This is the name of God, apparently. But God is within you. You can connect with God. You can connect with source consciousness within you by breathing, by raising your state of consciousness through breathing and meditation. This is why the Bible tells you the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. You are consciousness. You are God. You're an extension of God's consciousness. Job 27:3. As long as my breath is in me and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. The Spirit of God is through breath. John 20:22. And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. The word spirit means breath. In Greek, Hebrew, Latin, it all means breath or wind or air. The Holy Spirit is a certain way of breathing, a breathing technique that elevates your consciousness, that syncs you up to a holy consciousness, an elevated state. That is the Holy Spirit. That's why it tells you in the Bible, when he said this, he breathed onto them. He breathed onto them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. You must breathe to receive the Holy Spirit. When you breathe, you are renewing the body's energy. You're taking in new life force, which is regenerating your cells, regenerating your brain, nervous system, and also connecting with consciousness, pure consciousness. This is not something that we should be doing during meditation. Yes, it is. We should be doing it during meditation, but this is something that we need to apply all of the time. This is the fastest way you can raise your consciousness. I just want to say, all of this knowledge is inside of the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Make sure to give a like and a comment on this video to help the algorithm. And let me know what you think about the last book or this book if you have read them, to let the new people know what they're looking at with this book. This is truly life-changing, the Volume 2 and Volume 1 is truly life-changing. You can get them in a bundle also. Learn hidden knowledge inside of the Ethereal University. This is where truth seekers belong. I'm not here to try sell you this, but this is the place for truth seekers. And if you are serious about your spiritual journey and serious about gaining knowledge, which gives you the advantage of a life, join Ethereal University. This will definitely help you. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and comment. Make sure to give me any suggestions on videos that you want me to make in the future. Thank you all.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
What is good, people? Is Revival of Wisdom. We're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of Saturn and the occult. Let's jump straight into this. So Saturn is the god of the earth, right? It's the time of God, change, destruction, physical matter. He creates and destroys because the energy of Saturn is the key to crystallization. It wraps things in physical matter, right? He creates everything, all life forms, and he takes things back because the day that you're born, that's the day that your expiry date is coming. The time is ticking until Saturn takes your life. This is why he's known as the Reaper. Okay, as he's personified as eating his child here in this ancient Roman painting. As you can see, he's eating the child. We are all children of Saturn, right? He creates physical matter, our physical bodies, right? He's the god of time because he's the slowest moving celestial body. He's the Lord of the Rings, as you can see here. He's the last one on the ring. He's the slowest one moving, okay? So he is the Lord of time, of destruction and creation, okay? This is why his name is Saturn, Satan. He's the devil, okay? But I'm not saying Saturn's evil, guys. It's a part of life. Everything lives and dies, right? He's the key to crystallization. Now, as we have the clock here, our god Saturn, or Chronos in Greek, just means time. He's also the god of time, as I've already said. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Add 2 plus 4 equals 6. 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's 666. Okay. And as you see on the clock, 6 take away 12 equals 6. 7 take away 1 equals 6. 9 take away 3 equals 6. 6 is the number of Saturn. It's associated with Saturn, right? He's the god of time, of justice. Everything goes back to the Reaper in the end. Everything lives and dies. Now, the artwork of him, he's always got the Reaper staff. You see, it's personifying death. Now, when you see this, the Romans were not saying Saturn was a real person, a real god in human form. No, this is personification. This is what the ancients always did. They personified, just like the Bible. It's all personification. So the personifying Saturn eating its children because it eats, it's the Reaper. No one can escape the Reaper. No one can escape death. Now, Saturn is 666, which is in the Bible, the number of the beast, right? The number of the beast, Satan, 666, right? So on the North Pole of Saturn, you have a hexagon, which makes a cube, right? Now, this hexagon, when you join up all the corners, creates the 6-pointed star known as the Star of David, right? In the Jewish religion. Now, as you can see, the 6-pointed star has 6 points, 6 mini triangles, and a 6-sided hexagon. That makes 666. And also, you have Saturday is named after Saturn, the sixth planet, the sixth day of the week, and has a six-sided polygon in its north pole. That's also 666. Now, this Star of David, this symbol goes back thousands of years, and it originates from Saturn. It's not the Star of David, right? It originates from Saturn. It symbolizes the physical and spiritual aspect combined into one, which makes us humans, right? Also symbolizes the male and female combined into one. These two sacred energies create the human. We consist of both male and female energy, also known as the Seal of Solomon. And we all know if Solomon was a real person, he talks about communicating with 72 demons. He could apparently, in the text, he could communicate with 72 demons, and this is sorcery. This is black magic. Now, this symbol is
Oh my God, the mic was off the entire time. I am so sorry, people. Like, and I was rambling on forever showing this work. Anyway, I hope you were reading it because I was actually reading it and talking about it. And I'm quite embarrassed because it was probably like 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm so sorry. But 666, I mean, it all depends on how you interpret this number. I think it's part of a divine, like sacred geometry, essentially. And I think Satan is symbolic of Saturn, which is also connected or correlated to like the root chakra. It's the lowest of the chakras or the energy systems or things like that. And anyways, and rules over Capricorn and Aquarius, like I've talked about a million times. Capricorn being represented by a goat, Aquarius being represented by a human. So Satan's always represented or often represented as being red. They're being fire because it's cold. These are the winter months in Canada and in the what we're calling the northern hemispheres or regions of this cosmos. And yeah, there's a lot of suffering. Like these are the hardest times out of the seasons, and so like that's why when people say they're in hell, like that's what they mean. And heaven would be the summer months, for example. Where was going to go with that? And so yeah, people are just misinterpreting this and justifying being evil shitheads because of some demonic possession or whatever, or being Satanists, all that weird stuff where they believe that they're entitled to do all this weird, crazy stuff when you're doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing at the individual level. We're all supposed to be trying to become enlightened or anointed through works.
Associated with hexing people. When you place a hex on someone, that is a form of witchcraft, which a hex is just a curse. When you're cursing someone, this is black magic. Now, the black magician would stand in the middle of the symbol and cast his spells onto other people. Now, this symbol is obviously on the $1 bill, twice on the $1 bill, and it's very, very ancient symbol, and it originates from Saturn. And let's keep going. So the cube. So I just said how you see the cube on the North Pole of Saturn, right? The cube is limited. It's a 3D shape. It symbolizes limitations to the physical 3D dimension.
I think that's Saturn too. I don't think it's a planet. I think it's a luminary. And I think there's possibly cymatics involved in sonoluminescence. I don't know. But when you zoom in, it does look like there's some kind of a hexagonal pattern. So like that I do understand where they're connecting that with Saturn.
Dimension, the physical realm which we are in. Now, as you can see, the color associated with Saturn is black, right? Black is infinite potential. Black is the creation of all things before there was light. Light is born out of blackness, darkness, okay? Now, black is physical matter. And as you can see, the black cube, black symbolizing physical matter, the cube being limited as the physical realm that we are in is limited. It's not like the fourth dimension where everything can exist in a thought. The third dimension is limited, right? And this is what Saturn is. It limits you to the 3D 666, your body. Limits you to your physical body. Now, these black cubes are placed everywhere. As you can see, Australia, Denmark, Manhattan. There's one in New York. As you can see, the Apple have a cube. The Nintendo GameCube. Trump Tower is a black cube. This is worshipping the energy of Saturn, the god Saturn. Okay, it's not a god, it's a celestial energy. However, it rules over Earth because it pretty much created the physical realm. Now, as you see, when you go to a funeral, you wear black, a black suit symbolizing Saturn, which is the color associated, black. And as you see in Mecca, they walk around the black cube in rings. As you can see here, they're stood around in rings, like the rings of Saturn. The Mercedes symbol. You probably wouldn't notice that, but yes, it's Saturn. And when you graduate from university, you wear a black cube on your head. This is all symbolizing Saturn. Okay. Now, as you can see, the Jews here have a black cube on their third eye whilst they pray. Notice how he's shutting his eyes into blackness, darkness. and he's wrapped around a black strap around his arm. This is symbolizing the wrapping of physical matter, of how physical matter wraps things into existence. And as we all know, the Star of David is a Jewish symbol. So he has the black cube and the Star of David, right? So all of these religions are secretly worshipping Saturn. Okay, this is all Saturn worship, Kronos, the god of time and destruction, the physical reality. Now, as you can see, it's symbolized everywhere in all major corporations. Pepsi, internet, that's obvious. NASA, of course, NASA. NASA means to deceive in Hebrew. Universal, Walkers, that one's so obvious. Nike, Toyota. So many different ways they symbolize it. You either see the rings of Saturn or the black cube, as I just showed you here, the Nintendo and the Mercedes, right? It's absolutely everywhere. Now, they also use 666 to symbolize it, as I've just broken it down to you. 666, the World Economic Forum. We all know how they're trying to enslave us into this new world agenda. Google Chrome, CERN, Disney, Coca-Cola, Cadbury's, all of these have 666. Now, every UPS barcode has 666. And even www. Is Hebrew for 666, as you can see here. Monster. It's the same Hebrew letter. It means 666. Drake, 6 God. That's his God, Saturn. Why? Because they love physical realm. They love the physical dimension, the third dimension. Because they can rule here through riches. They can build an empire here. It's not like the fourth dimension. They don't want to ascend. They want to stay down here in the physical realm. Okay? Now, this is why they're cloning. They can move their consciousness into other clones to live forever. This technology exists. This is why they love the third dimension. As you can see, all of these sellouts here, Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, all of these people doing 666 because this is their God. This is their God. They love the physical realm. They sold their souls for wealth and fame in this physical realm. So why would they leave? You see? Now, this isn't all just evil, okay? So you have 7 chakras, right? You have 7 days of the week, 7 solfeggio scale notes. These are frequencies, the solfeggio scale. Now, it's called the Saturn moon matrix because the moon symbolizes your mind because you're created out of the Holy Trinity, which is body, mind, and spirit, right? That's the triangle, the equal triangle, body, mind, and spirit. Now, the 3 main celestial bodies are Earth, Moon, and Sun. The Earth being your physical body, the Moon being your mind, and the Sun is your soul, hence why it's called solar. It's a solar, soul. Now, these symbols are alchemical symbols. So when you're doing alchemy, you use these symbols to obviously symbolize what we're talking about. Now, as you can see, these are all the symbols of the planets. Now, Saturn is created out of the moon on top, the moon on the bottom and the Earth on top, as you can see here. You see? And this creates the number 5. Now, with the moon being your mind and the Earth being your physical body, this is mind over matter, because the Earth is your body's matter. This is a matter over mind. You don't want to be matter over mind. This is low states of consciousness. You want to be mind over matter. You see, to manipulate matter, to create your own reality. Now, obviously, we all know Saturn is associated with the lowest chakra, which is the root chakra. This is to deal with your animal instincts. When you're down here, you identify as the physical body. You don't know anything spiritual. You have a pure physical mind. You don't believe in anything spiritual. This is survival mode, consumption. They want you trapped down here, which is matter over mind. They don't want you to create your own reality, which is mind over matter. You see? Now, that's what Jupiter is. Saturn is the moon on the bottom and the Earth on top. But Jupiter is the moon on top with the Earth on the bottom. That's mind over matter, you see? So these chakras are an ascension process from matter, physical matter to spiritual. This is the ascension. This is the stairway to heaven. This is Jacob's ladder, you see? Now, the number 5, which is obviously associated with Saturn as well, which create the symbol for Saturn created the number 5. You have 5 senses, 5 elements, 5 physical elements. As we all know, Saturn crystallizes everything into physical matter out of the 4 elements. 5 fingers and toes, 5 points of man. Okay, the number 5 is the number of justice. Saturn holds things back. He restrains things from you, makes you learn the lesson. Now, 666 is not all evil. 666 is the atomic structure of the carbon atom. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, right? We are carbon-based life forms. All life forms are based on the bonding properties of the element carbon. Because Saturn crystallizes everything into physical matter. Now, the Masons symbolize this with the checkered boards. They have the black square, which is obviously matter, as I just said, the black cube, and spirit is the white square, because white is eternal light, white and light. You see, black is physical matter. Now, this is what we are. The point of our soul is to transmute from matter to spirit, but these are interchangeable. This is the constant cycle between spirit and matter, spirit and matter. High vibrational matter turns into spirit. Low vibrational spirit turns into physical matter. You see? Now, we are carbon-based life forms. This is what 666 is, the number of the beast. When I say we, the physical body is the beast. It's the animal. It's the carbon suit to operate in this physical dimension, in this physical realm. See? It's the vehicle used to operate in this physical realm. But your mind isn't from this physical realm, you see? The brain is the physical manifestation of the soul. Okay? So, as you can see here, the spine is an extension of the brain. Everything goes back to the brain. This is literally what your physical body is. You see, this is the nervous system, and everything reports back to the brain, and everything's controlled from this control center. And this spinal column, at the top of the spinal column, is your third eye, which is known as the pineal gland. And this is the seat of consciousness. It's the center of consciousness. That is your true self, pure consciousness. This body is just a physical body. This body is mortal. This body runs out, but your consciousness lives forever. They don't want you knowing this. This is why they keep you down here in your lower chakra. They want you to believe everything is just physical. They don't want you to believe in the spiritual side of reality, because this way they can manipulate you, right? They want you matter over mind, because they know your mind creates reality. They know your mind is the root cause of reality. You manifest your own reality from the inside out. So this is why they control your perception of reality. They control your information in order to manifest their new world order. You, who are ignorant to knowledge and wisdom.
Make sure I have the mic on this time. Yeah, I like this chart. Actually, I'm going to go to it just to make sure that I can show it to you on the screen here. But I've talked about these energy systems or these chakras, or these areas that are correlated with accessing our highest level of consciousness, which is you'd call it the crown chakra. It's correlated to the 7th energy body, but this is just a completion or a combination of all these other energy systems. And so you've got three-dimensional, these are the lower energy systems or energy bodies or chakras, whatever you want to call them, and where you have Satan or Saturn at the very bottom, connected to Saturn ruling over Aquarius and Capricorn. The element associated with it is lead. The color is red, and again, the root chakra. So if your foundation is broken at this level, then everything else falls apart, right? And or doesn't get built above it, right? Because it doesn't have that solid foundation or framework. And then you've got the sacral chakra, the 2nd chakra or energy body or system, connected to Jupiter and Thursday or Thor's day, and Jupiter ruling over Sagittarius and Pisces. And the element being tin, and the color, again, like we're talking about, is orange. These are also colors of the rainbow, and again connected to the fixed constellations or zodiac signs we see in the sky. And I don't know why this is here. So this is like a little bit different than I would look at. So I'm just going to correct this here as I go along here. You've got the solar plexus chakra or energy body or system connected to the color yellow, Mars, Tuesday, and ruling over Scorpio and Aries. And this is where when your moon, when the moon rather enters your sun sign. Again, this is just a theory based on ancient texts. But when the moon enters your sun sign, so for example, my sun sign is Capricorn. So when the moon enters into Capricorn, this would be a period. It happens once a month, and this is where there's possibly some kind of a protein that is created within the solar plexus, and that's why doing the meditation, the breathing, and trying to live a life where you're trying to balance the what we're calling the 7 deadly sins, or like the 7 codes of Noah, or whatever you want to call it, or the 10 commandments. There's so many different ways that people have lists of how to become illuminated, and I think it's connected to this as well. And so periods of fasting, if your vices are, like, for example, lust, if you're too lustful or not, lustful enough, I guess, like that's not a balance, right? So, and then you've got wrath. You still have to have balance with that. But anyways, the root chakra is connected to sloth, actually, in my theory. And so if you don't do anything at all, if you don't even move, then again nothing else matters, right? Because like you haven't made it to the first step essentially. And then you've got Mars's wrath, and then you've got the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra, connected to the color green, and it's Wednesday or Woden's day, and for that one. And so apologies for this diagram, it's actually not as great as I thought, but connected to Venus. Venus rules over Libra and Taurus. These are fixed signs, and these are periods of planting seeds and harvesting seeds, and where we have the anyway, the more fertile times and times of planting and fertilizing and stuff like that. Anyway, so you've got the 5th chakra, which is the throat chakra, connected to the color blue, and that's connected to Wednesday or Woden's day. Mercury rules over Virgo and Gemini. And then you've got the third eye, 6th chakra or energy system, which is connected or correlated to the color indigo. And it's the moon. And the moon rules over Cancer, as we know. And that's Monday, or Moon Day, or Loon Day. And then you've got the final energy system or chakra, whatever, or the crown chakra, whatever you want to call it. And this in itself is not not a dimension. So within this cosmos, I do think that there's possibly like the ability to experience the 5th dimension, right? So you've got these lower chakras here are being 3-dimensional. When you access higher levels of consciousness, you get into the 4th and 5th dimensional planes. And then this is just a total, like the completion of like tallying up essentially the energy frequencies, whatever you want to call them, within the body. I hope that makes sense.
You, who are ignorant, are manifesting their agenda because you accept their information and their perception of this reality. Now, this is why they tell you the globe model, the heliocentric model, to trap you into physical matter. Now, if you understood about this true form of this realm, you'd understand that there's...
Oh, I forgot to mention that the crown chakra is connected to Sunday, or Dimanche, and the sun rules over Leo out of the astrological signs. The element connected to it is gold, and the color being purple or violet. Again, these are frequencies, colors, energies, and it's all connected to the luminaries above us, and that is our creation story. It's very important. These luminaries, especially the sun and moon, very important for our existence.
There's a spiritual side behind everything. The spiritual side, something has to exist. The root cause of reality is higher planes of existence. It happens in the mind before it happens on the physical plane. You see? They don't want you knowing this. They want you matter over mind, which is the symbol for Saturn. Moon over Earth, the Holy Trinity. Now, as you can see, the cube also makes IXXI. This is Roman numerals. This is Roman numerals, and when it's translated from 9/11. Yes, 9/11. This is the secret code of the one world order. The two twin towers, when the two become one. Okay, when the two become one, this is how you reach the higher states of consciousness, the physical and spiritual. Now, as you can see, the 9/11 memorial are two black cubes. It's two black cubes. This is all Saturn worship. Now, I'm not saying that Saturn is an evil celestial body, right? No, everything has a good side and a bad side, right? It's duality. The spirits of Saturn on the dark side are the most evil demonic spirits. Now, these are the spirits that these are invoking through these rituals, right? Yes, 9/11 was a massive ritual. It's a satanic ritual, okay? Now, we all know Elon Musk. Elon Musk is coming with the mark of the beast. And English gematria, this equals 666, right? 666, as I said, is the number of the beast. You are the beast, your physical body. You see how the Bible twisted things up to make things more confusing, right? But it's there. You just have to have the knowledge to be able to read the Bible properly. As we all know, we had this virus. I'm not going to say the name because I'll get flagged. This virus adds up to 666 because this is all part of the New World Order. It's all part of keeping you in this physical dimension. Okay, now as you can see here, Novus Ordo Seclorum on the back of his shirt, on Elon Musk's shirt. This is also on the $1 bill, Novus Ordo Seclorum. This means New World Order. Yes, New World Order. This is on the back of Elon Musk's shirt. And as you can see here, he owns Neuralink, which is the brain chip, which they're going to be putting into, implanting this onto your brain. This is the New World Order to connect you and merge your consciousness with AI. Neuralink and Meta, he owns Meta as well, which is the metaverse. These are going to be linked in, hence why they have the same symbol, but just in a different format. It's the infinity symbol. And the infinity symbol comes from the torus field, as you can see here, your electromagnetic field from around your body. Now, the end goal is for this New World Order is to trap your consciousness inside of an alternative reality being projected from the metaverse. Because the metaverse will be the reality. Neuralink will be the brain chip inside of your brain, projecting your consciousness into an alternative reality while they harness your energy of your physical 666 body. Now, this stuff gets real, real deep, people. Now, this is the end goal of the New World Order, is to connect you with AI. This is why they're trapping you and keeping you in these lower states of consciousness in the Saturn-associated root chakra, so you don't find out about the spiritual side of reality. Because if you knew the truth of this reality, you wouldn't connect to AI. You see, you have the power within you to travel to other worlds, the astral plane, for example. You travel to different worlds when you are sleeping. Okay? They want you to know it's just a dream. However, their end goal is to trap your consciousness and feed off your energy, spiritually and physically. Okay? I don't know why these people are just pure evil. As I said, evil love bondage. They love the physical dimension. They don't want to ascend to other realms. These evil love the third dimension. This is why evil spirits will inhabit bodies, exorcisms, because they miss being in the physical realm. They miss it. Evil love bondage. So this is why they're cloning and putting their consciousness in clones to stay in this third dimension, to stay as further away from the source as possible. Okay? This is why they're doing it. And this is how it's all linked in. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you gained some wisdom. Please feel free to join the Telegram. And please leave a like and a subscribe. Thank you all, people. God bless.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
That's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil. Well, needless to say, sold my soul.
Hey y'all, I'm finna sell my soul. I'm gonna hit y'all when I'm through. I'm gonna be rich as hell. All right.
Selling your soul to me means like, your soul was bought. Your enlightenment, your spirituality, your accessing your higher levels of consciousness was bought. Materialistic, right? And with God in all friggin' religions and ancient advanced civilizations, they all were saying the same things. Actually, even in more primitive ancient civilizations, they were saying the same things about not following the 7 deadly sins. And pride, by the way, is correlated or connected with Leo and the sun. And that's, I think, like the pride, the lion's pride. I'm just going to share here some examples of like these people think that it's some kind of like a spiritual, it's the opposite of spiritual, like these people that are Satanists and stuff like that. Your religion is literally money. It's literally money. And that's why like you, it's unfortunate. So it's probably in the 10 Commandments. I mean, not explicitly, but it is taught in Christianity. So you've got idolatry. Pride can lead to putting oneself or one's own desires above God, which is a form of idolatry. Coveting. Pride and envy can lead to the desire for what belongs to others, which is a form of coveting. And I'll say too, like with these pride flags, this woke trans ideology that's pushing, harming children, grooming children, blocking their ability to reproduce. It's just been appalling. But they are targeting Catholic, Christian friggin' schools, and there's pride flags all over the place. And again, this is so anti-Christian, fundamentally, foundationally speaking. It's just so ridiculous to me. And again, it's not. And so anyone that's religious and accepting this, I just don't understand it, respectfully. And the Canadian flag, I will reiterate, encompasses all Canadians. And so that includes you. You don't need another flag. And they're doing this and they're saying that they've like fought so hard for their flag. That is such bullshit. Canadians, for this Canadian flag, we fought quite hard for that flag, right? And we're trying to keep it. Thank you very much. And if you think that you'd be more protected in other countries that are not tolerant of certain behaviors and deviances like Christians, then you're out of your mind, because there's already people online now finally that have gone to other countries thinking they'd be more welcome within certain communities. And they are waking up to the reality of how corrupted other countries are, how intolerant they are of so many different backgrounds. And but especially if you're gay, in places you will be killed, ladies and gentlemen. And anyways, I can go on, but like people are swarming areas that were based foundationally on Christianity, I would say, Christian values, ideologies, legal systems, legal frameworks connected to or tied to our religious framework. And they're coming here and they're trying to push their ideologies and cultures and stuff like that didn't work where they were. And there's a lot of countries that won't even accept these people because they don't feel like they actually properly conform or follow the religion. Yet we're anyway. I shouldn't go on so much of a tangent about this. Pride can lead to defiance of authority, both in the home and within the community. And we're seeing this all over the place. And I don't understand why peacefully Christians are just like, my goodness, my grandmother was hardcore Irish Catholic. Hardcore. I loved her. And she was a nun, a practicing nun, and then she fell in love with my grandfather, and they were together for many years until he died, and she was never with another man, and she literally went to church every single day, hardcore Christian, very strict, disciplined upbringing, and and I would say a matriarch in the family after my grandfather died. Again, also very religious, and yeah. Do I believe that Jesus Christ existed in physical form? No, I do not. I believe that he's a representation or a symbol of the sun, but I do believe there have been incredible human beings on earth that have been able to access their higher levels of consciousness, the fifth dimension, and be of service and do good works for themselves, to be for the betterment of societies. And we've seen that, examples of that, and unfortunately it's rare because a lot of people with these seven deadly sins, we are just so easily tempted, and that's the creation story as well, and the path to enlightenment is trying to resist temptations. Yes, I do remember you, actually. Yeah, we've and oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I would love to do, if you would be open to it. I don't want to trigger you or anything like that, but if you would be open to doing a podcast, I would do it Rumble only, and I have to do 5 premium hours. But anyways, it's just so that it's for your comfort level, but I don't know if YouTube would censor that or not, but we could try. And so if you want to email me at dawn189@protonmail.com, I can send you a link and we could try to line that up to get your story out there, because there's so many more people that have been impacted by that trafficking industry than people possibly believe. And yeah, the more people come forward, the better.
So, what exactly is selling your soul? In order to understand this to its full potential, you have to understand the spirit world and the occult world which our eyes cannot visibly see. The physical world we see is nothing but an illusion and a product of the higher planes of existence. For example, you can see someone's physical body, but you can't see the complex structure of the consciousness and the thinking behind that being. With that being said, there are forces and entities not attached to physical bodies, which they exist on the astral and etheric plane behind the physical plane. Now, there are numerous videos and music with artists talking about this. For example,
I sold my soul to the devil, and the price was cheap. Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Money.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
Wealth.
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
So selling your soul is cutting a deal with an astral plane entity in exchange for wealth and fame on this physical plane. This is classed as black magic because you are bending reality against your intuition. Now, making deals with entities.
Yeah. I'm sorry for putting these comments up there. Like, if you don't want, I can remove them. I just think this is so friggin' unfortunate and infuriating that this friggin' has happened to you and so many others. And stalking, yeah, it would make your life worse, honestly. Like, even with me, what I'm sharing, I don't know why, but it triggers so many people. Like, even people within the trans community, for example, they have came to my house. I don't know if they were trying to break into harm me or whatever, but then they fled. And I locked my door. I already talked about this stuff. And again, doxing my home, my address. It's been nonstop. And even just, and that's low level stuff, right? I don't have a lot of viewers, right? And this stuff has happened to me. And so I can only imagine, because people have died because of speaking out. Multiple people have, quote unquote, committed suicide, suspicious deaths before they were supposed to speak as witnesses. And it's absolutely disgusting. And even, like I've said before, it's not just Hollywood, which Mel Gibson is calling pedowood, I think, and he's going to be exposing a lot of this stuff shortly as well. But even Pelletier, who like the Las Vegas shootings that I've exposed, and Lahaina, like the friggin' wildfires, him being there for that as well. He's connected to Diddy. You know, like it's a friggin' small. Actually, it's not a small group of people, and even Oprah is connected to this with human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and stuff like that. Whether she knows it or not, it's happening under her friggin' organizations and charities and these these friggin' schools and stuff like that she's operated. Come on, ruin people's friggin' lives.
Beyond the physical plane, you always have to give something in exchange. When it comes with demonic entities, it always involves some sort of sacrifice, bloodshed, or humiliation. Now, there are countless of rappers who someone close to them have died just before their career takes off to the next level.
I would move too. Honestly, I've been stalked before, and I've had to move because of it. It's friggin' terrifying. It's friggin' terrifying. Moving might it's a lot, but it might be your only option. I'm saying that as someone who's actually had to move because of that, and yeah, and I'm in a much safer place, and so yeah, it's terrifying. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that's happening to you. Oh my goodness.
My mama was sacrificed.
Yeah, sure.
You understand?
Yeah. Increase
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son.
I do hope you are heard, and I hope you are protected. And yeah, if you wanted to move around in my area of the woods, it's much safer. Anyway, Oprah and Stedman pressured me into letting Gayle King go down on me after I was roofied in my own home about 13 years ago. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Cosby was doing that as well, roofing friggin' people and raping them. Disgusting. And Gayle King going to friggin' quote unquote space. It wasn't a ride. Have you been? Have you been there? Ridiculous. She's disgusting. And I wish more people knew about it. These people are getting idolized. It's absolutely horrendous.
You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
So these rappers and celebrities do have to do sacrifice rituals in order to take their career to the next level.
Tough flights, I've been growing up, it's a ritual.
Donald Trump directly, and he's done jack shit. Not friggin' surprised. Not surprised, because there's a lot of photos out there with him in multiple gatherings with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, and you know, and whether it be financial crimes that he's trying to cover up or other friggin' sex scandals, who knows? But he's 100% been in that industry for years, and he has exposed jack shit, respectfully. And even with the moon landings, they were faked. None of that's come out. The JFK files, I have literally named the people possibly involved in this and included my theories on Tippett as well. And it's all of that stuff. He's not released the facts. There's been no re-investigations being done for any of these. 9/11, the same thing. Like, this needs to be like this is not it, right? He's doing a lot of good, but also he's covering up a lot of the bad, right? And it's still the same old left and right, part of the same friggin' bird. And banking like bankers and stuff like that, they're also like deeply involved in this. And so people voting in Carney, to me, I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I was saying that since January, even when the conservatives here were very popular, they were absolutely going to get a huge overwhelming majority vote. And I was saying Carney is a Bilderberg deep state supranationalist select. Like, there's no way I can see it any other way other than him winning, other than possibly Chrystia Freeland. But again, this was all lined up. The timing of Justin Trudeau's resignation, proroguing government, hijacking government, allowing him to take that spot with a very questionable election from within the Liberal candidacy or cabinet, or the election process, whatever, with the Liberals. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. And so many ballots not being counted. I think it was over 250,000 ballots, people not qualifying despite the fact that they were registered. And then how they were positioning districts, making it where areas where the ridings would have it where it was a guaranteed conservative win, or close, sorry, not a guaranteed conservative win, but very close. They were moving immigrants into these areas who vote largely liberal, and in order to skew the votes. And so absolutely election tampering, and the NDP assisted and enabled that as well. And yeah, and there was absolutely nothing we could do about it. And Trump was promoting and supporting Carney, so that was a big red flag as well. And they have connections even with Brookfield, bailing out Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, at 666 whatever that friggin' building is in New York. And yeah, even with COVID, like how Trump handled COVID with Fauci and rushing these therapeutics onto the people. Like, people don't remember any of that stuff. And January 6th too, they're really not saying the truth and arresting people that need to be arrested. Nancy Pelosi needs to be in jail. She's done more harm than anyway.
So the occult side of this reality is heavily connected with the music industry and the elites. This is why they are all connected to Freemasonry. Now, this is why the music industry is one of the most important industries for the elites to stay in control and keeping the masses on low states of consciousness. Frequency is one of the most powerful things in reality because it's the only thing which can enter your soul and body without consent. The frequency on Spotify and all major platforms are all tuned to 440 Hz, which was set by the Rockefellers. 440 Hz turns off the whole right side of your brain, and the right side of your brain is to do with critical thinking, imagination, and your intuition. Music has the ability to influence your intent, your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions just by frequency itself. By controlling the music the celebrities put out and the things they talk about, they're actually molding society because of the celebrities' huge amount of influence over the younger generation and cultures within society. This is why the music industry is mainly talking about sex, guns, violence, and hating other people. These are all very low vibrational acts and things to do, which destroys humanity and societies, keeping us all conquered and divided in order for them to stay in power. Music can actually reprogram your subconscious mind, and it is a form of MK Ultra, which is mind control.
It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent free. I can't get it out. You did that.
Yeah, it's hypnosis. Yeah, it's hypnosis.
You're so awesome and dope.
You do need to be very careful with what you're listening to and what frequency it's playing at, because all of this has an effect on your electromagnetic field and your state of consciousness. Now let's go back to selling your soul. When these rappers and celebrities sell their soul, they now gain eternal life on this physical plane.
When you do sell your soul, you are allowed to live forever. And these people that are called youngins, rookies, new booties, like I was, had no idea that these people still live. They will prey, haunt, kidnap, anything to stay on top. This is their world. They have nothing but time, is what they believe.
Now this explains why there's so much Saturn worship, because Saturn is the father time. He's the god of time and crystallization in the physical realm. If you want more information on that, go to my previous video. Now here is ASAP Rocky standing inside of a pentagram, but notice the way he's standing, it's an inverted pentagram. The pentagram is associated with magic, however, the upright pentagram is the 5 elements with spirit on the top. It's either called spirit or ether. It's at the top because it rules the other 4 elements, because it's the baseline of reality, which is spirit and matter. Spirit is behind the physical reality. However, when it comes to black magic, they invert the pentagram so spirit is at the bottom because they worship the physical world. This is why the Baphomet is the inverted pentagram. These people are operating off their animal instincts. They do not want anything to do with spirit. These are anti-Christ. All of these celebrities know full well the effect that they're doing on the rest of the world. They have sold themselves out, and the elites use them as puppets to push this new world order and mold society in the way they want it. This is why all the celebrities are linked to Freemasonry, because in Freemasonry you have to take the oath of silence, where you can't speak on anything that they learn inside of Freemasonry. This is the symbol of silence. The elites need them under this oath so they do not talk about certain topics and certain things to the public because of the amount of influence they have on society. Now, even the name Hollywood is an occult term, because back in the ancient days when they used to create wands, they used to create them out of holly wood, out of the holly tree, because each wood has certain attributes and virtues when it comes to magic. And the holly tree was known as the holy wood, and they used to create the wands out of it to cast spells. And Hollywood are still casting magic to this day through the films and through the music to the masses. That's it for this video, people. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and comment and subscribe. Peace and much love.
I'm going to keep on commenting because, again, this is very interesting to me. And it's not to, I'm just giving you something to consider here. This is Johnny Death. I just wanted to put this post up here. Not to single you out, but with the directed energy motor I've invented, among other things, I'm thinking I should approach the Russians or Ukrainians. I want to be in a country where I have rights, unlike here. I will agree that in certain areas, you in most areas you don't. Like it's been so, our freedoms have been so restricted in so many different ways, including surveillance and massive government overreach and false flags and there's so many things. But I was just talking to a friend. He actually moved from Canada to the US. He actually moved to Mexico first, and then he moved to the US, came back to Canada for a bit from Alberta, and then went back. He's in an area that if you email me, I can give you the area. But when we were talking, he was saying this area is less hardline religious and more libertarian and staunch conservative. Significant community values vibe, tied together with less extreme Christian undercurrent values, and then a massive local survivalist rancher vibe. Also surrounded by mountains and obstacles, but lots of water, growing land, animals, and good forests. He was saying, I don't get the mad exodus to Florida. If things get hairy, I see that place going swampland Mad Max in a bad way. Laugh out loud. I totally agree with him on Florida. For possibly not being like an option if shit kicks off. But even Wyoming and Montana are great areas. Saying, but in Montana is great, but a lot of billionaires in the nicer areas and a lot of meth labs everywhere else. Laugh out loud. That's pretty funny. But even in Canada, there are areas that are more conservative, traditional, and these are going to be areas where people are going to have more possibly the ability to be like less messed around with, because like we like there's more freedoms, right? Like there would be, like he's saying, like we're like just going to areas where there's obviously farmland communities like that are more in line with traditional Christian values, but like not extreme, because again we don't want that ecclesiastic rulership either. I've said that, like when things get too far left, for some reason, like the pendulum swing, it gets too far right for a while, which is usually like with religious connotations or undertones with that, and which is also not good, right? I've said this for years, right? That this far right ecclesiastic rulership has never worked either. And anyway, where was I going with this? But yeah, I would move to a safer area, an area where you can have access to defend yourself with weapons, and have the ability to grow food, hunt, fish, get generators, backup plans for energy, what you're doing with motors. Ukraine, I would say I would recommend not going there. It's been corrupted now for many years, and there's a lot of influence of these deep state supranationalists, including Hunter Biden, and there's been biolabs and again corruption and staged and planned coups in Ukraine, even in 2014, 2015 period, and they never left. And people are not safe there. Like it is really much, it's very much a dictatorship at this point. They don't have elections. People want to separate. There are Ukrainians that do feel like they're more aligned with Russia and want to be part of Russia. And there's a lot of Ukrainians, obviously, that don't want that. They want to preserve their land. I understand all friggin' sides here. But, and again, there's been massive civilian casualties. Infrastructure, I mean, Ukraine is in ruins. So much destruction. And again, I think it's just to cover up ancient history as well, in that as well. And for these super nationalists to get a lot of money in the process while eradicating the people that they don't care about. They don't give a shit about the people. They care about money and wealth and maintaining that. Even the friggin' king, I'm going on all these friggin' tangents, but he's coming to Canada, like the UK king. And I'm like, do you not know the history of Canada and Europe, right? With Irish and Scottish and French even aligning multiple times against England because of them fucking with us, you know what I mean? And our religion and our lands and et cetera, et cetera. And to the point where, again, where we have literally aligned. French has a strong history over hundreds and hundreds of years before even coming to Canada of aligning with Scotland or Ireland to counter England and their overreach and mass atrocities, etc. And the kicking us off our friggin' land so many different times, and that's why a lot of people came to Canada also. And so friggin' we don't like I don't give a shit about this guy, right? And also his family are a bunch of pedophiles at this point. Not everyone, obviously. Again, it's not the majority either, but again, there's a lot of friggin' people within that friggin' family that are involved in human trafficking, sex, like and stealing things from people. They're friggin' stealers as well. And yeah, and Irish Canadians, Scottish Canadians, French Canadians. Like again, this is just like I don't understand why people think that this is like a classy move. Like there's a lot of, and then you've got like a strong Lebanese Canadian population, Italians, Greeks, like even people from Palestine and India, like in China. Like what are your thoughts on this friggin' king from England coming to Canada when there's known pedophiles and being involved again and just always friggin' stealing massive amounts of wealth from so many different places. Anyway, just spare me. I'm not going to listen to the speech. My family literally has been in Canada like for at least 14 generations on all sides. And we have fought in wars against invasion and occupation and sorry, that rulership or that control from friggin' England. And even France for that matter as well, right? And I just don't get it. I don't get it. Make it make sense to me. Because again, we have fought wars, and we fought wars against Americans as well in order to maintain our Canadian sovereignty.
Hello, welcome back to The Real University. Today we're going to be talking about hidden spells within the language, English language. This is why we call it spelling. A lot of people are already aware of this. However, I'm going to go over some words that have double meaning, meanings to them, behind them, which trick your subconscious mind. So the word grammar comes from the word grimoire, which is also known as the book of spells or a magic book on how to create magical objects like wands, amulets, how to perform magic spells, charms, and summoning and invoking supernatural entities such as spirits, which are on the other side of this physical reality. So what you must understand is what you say in this physical world is also happening in the astral world as well. So your words are spells. They cast spells into the spirit plane. They cast spells into your mind. They cast vibrational frequency into your cells in the water. Water holds a lot of energy. So we're going to be going all over this. The subconscious mind takes everything as truth. Everything you say is truth to your subconscious. And you should know this by watching the Manifestation Mastery 2.0 course. I talk about this. This is so important that you understand this because everything is truth within the subconscious. It only knows you. Your subconscious mind, if you watch the course, you should know this, it's responsible for 90% of your daily basis behavior. The thoughts that you are thinking on a daily basis, the things that you do, the things that you say 90% of what you do and say and think, you did yesterday, because of the subconscious mind holds all of your programs. What you say is molding your mind. What you state is truth in your mind. It does not know the difference between a joke or it does not, it takes everything literal. It is literal. Your mind is this manifesting supercomputer. And whatever you say into it, it says, that is what I want. So whatever you tell your mind, that is what you'll have. That is what you'll believe. So every word you say is truth within the subconscious. So this is why double meaning words have an effect on your subconscious. And this is why I'm raising awareness here. So talking is a tall king. You are either a tall king by talking, by using your words wisely, or you're a small king because you create big or you destroy yourself with your words. So talking is Phoenician. This is phonetics. So this is etymology is when you take the root words, but phonetic etymology is when you take the sound of the word. So talk and tor are the same, because when you talk, you're creating sound waves, which is a form of a light wave. And when light waves expand in all directions, it creates a torus field. And everything is torus fields. So if you affect one torus field, it affects every torus field in creation, as above, so below. So what you say is affecting the torus fields around you in your body. You are made out of these torus fields. This is why talking is torusing. You're creating light waves, sound waves, and you are permeating creation. And this is why the Bible tells you the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So the tongue is what creates these sound waves that we are producing when we talk or speak. Okay, so this is what we are essentially doing, creating sound waves, and these waves are vibrating and they affect the cells in our body and everything. This is why words are swords. This is why the word is within sword. They are swords. They cut, they damage, because frequency is the only thing that can penetrate you without your consent. In the very beginning, the Bible, John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. This is obviously a metaphor. There was no spoken word out of a spoken mouth. It's basically saying God created the world with the use of cymatic frequencies, sound waves. Everything is sound waves, and this is observable. Geometry is the geometric shapes you see in the nature, like petals, how they're all perfect stars or five-pointed stars, or the Fibonacci sequence. This is all an effect of vibrational frequencies. It's all cymatics. Everything is created out of sound. Sound is the creation of the universe. So this is how powerful words are. It's a cymatic frequency. Hello. Hell. When you say hello, you're subconsciously implanting hell into your mind and the people around you's mind. This is why it's casting a spell. Even though you may pick up on it, but your subconscious picks up hell. That is what you're picking up. And that word holds a frequency. The word hell, when you hear the word or see the word, activates thoughts within your subconscious. It activates, it stimulates it. What is everything that resembles hell in your mind? But that goes on within the subconscious without you realizing. Bless. When I bless you, I'm actually saying be less. So you're not blessing someone. You're saying be less. Appreciate. Appreciate. Weekend is when you're weakened. You see, they've casted spells on our cycle of life. The weekend is when you're weekend. You are weakened from the weekdays, when the working days are the weekdays, and the weekend is when you're weakened and you rest. Because in the days, you are in physical or emotional shock, unable to think or react properly. This is the days you're in. You're in a daze in the weekdays. See, parents are a pair who rents, because you don't, well, in this work, we do own our children, but in the system, we technically don't. You're a pair who rents. Slaughter. They want you to think that slaughter is laughter. You see how it's implanting messages in your subconscious to make these things okay? They want you to think slaughtering is okay, so they put the word laughter in slaughter. I'm telling you, people, the people who made this language are satanic. They are these people are wizards. We're getting ran by wizards, dark occultists, and wizards. That is who we're getting run by. And they've been running for thousands of years, and they know exactly what they're doing. They've covered all aspects. They've covered the language, the frequencies, the music, the food, the water. They control everything in every aspect of your life. They have some part in it. And it's all occult knowledge through magic. It's all magic. It's all a form of magic. Awake. Awake is an event where the family and friends of a deceased gather before the funeral. That's awake. Why are we talking? Why is the word funeral? Why is death associated with being awake? See how they are planting subconscious messages in you. They want you to feel death. They want you to be the low vibration. And it's the same with mourning. Mourning is an expression of sorrow for someone's death. They're always associating death because these people they're running a death cult. It's a death cult. It's a satanic cult. A job is Hebrew for prosecution. Soldier is a soul dyer. If you go into the army, you're a soul dyer that they just use your soul to die. And then you just wasted your time in physical incarnation. Because you never die. You'll never ever die. Ever. You're eternal. You never ever die. This body's just a suit. So you're a soul dyer if you go in the soul, if you're a soldier. SOL means soul or sun, because the sun is a soul. Music. So we say music. See, MEU sick. Music. See how it's me, you sick? Music. Me, you sick, because music is frequency, and frequency penetrates your body without your consent. The music we listen to today is making people sick, mentally, emotionally, and physically. What you hear, what you see, goes into the mind, it goes into the body and the spirit. It destroys you. It's hypnotism. Music is hypnotic. It's a form of hypnosis. When you listen to music and you can't think. You can't think. It makes your body move without you even being conscious of it. It's hypnosis. It makes you sick. The right music is good, don't get me wrong, but the music they use today is making you, me and you, sick. And that's another one. When we say things are sick, oh, that's really good. So we say sick. It's another spell that you're casting. You're calling yourself sick. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. You're calling yourself sick, ill. Spellcasters will often use the word abracadabra when spellcasting. This is because the word abracadabra in magic means I create when I speak. Every word you say is molding your mind in some form of way. Not only is it molding your mind, you're casting frequency, you're producing frequency, light waves, sound waves into the ether around you. Okay. This is another good one. Look at the 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. They tell you to speak it in this order as well. They teach you this order, this exact order. A, E, I, O, U. I, O, U, subconscious spell on yourself without you even realizing it. It's a subliminal message that you will not realize, but your subconscious will pick up. We are taught to speak them in the specific arrangement because the last 3 letters have a double meaning. You were never taught how the history of money, how it works, and how to obtain it, because your role in this system is to remain a slave. So they teach you this, A, E, I, O, U, and they do that when you are very, very, very young, because since the age of 7, so from 0 to 7, that is when your subconscious mind is wide open. So when a baby, why do you think they pick up on everything you do? If you say one thing, the next day they're saying it. It's because their subconscious is wide open to programs. Why? Because they're trying to learn what this world is. So their subconscious mind is wide open, taking in everything that you do, everything you say, your body language, the way you handle yourself, the way you talk to other people. They're taking in every little thing you say and do, and making that a program so they can understand this world and the people around them. And at the age of 7, that is when their programs are written for life, and they will basically go off them for the rest of their lives. This is why it's important to look after what you do in front of your children, not just what you say, your body language, the things you eat. They pick up on everything. They're trying to make a sense of the world. From the age of 0 to 7 in school, you learn this. I owe you. It belittles you. You owe nothing. No one has right over you. This should not be real. There should be no government. We should not have. No one should be over you. Everyone is equal. Everyone is the I. Everyone is God manifested. So we don't owe anyone anything, but it's a spell in your subconscious. Signature, sign your nature. Sig is sigil. A sigil is a magic. Is a sorry, excuse me. Is a symbol used for magic. A sigil. Sigil nature. So your signature is your sigil. And when you sign that, it gives mental power over you. Once you have put your sigil into that paper, they now have mental power over you. It's magic. It's all a form of magic and brainwashing. Okay? When we say the word the, we're trying to use God to manifest that. Okay? Because the comes from theo in Greek, which means God. So when we say theology, ology means the study of. Theology is the study of God. That's what theology is. Theo, when we say the, I am the, we are using God to bring it into existence. God is the I am. The I behind you, the I am, that's God. That's what manifested everything in your life. Everything in your life, that invisible creator inside of you has manifested everything you physically see. You are the invisible architecture, the invisible artist behind your life. The I, that's God. The only one. So when we use the word I am, this is how to bring the power to yourself. When we say I am strong, I am wealthy, I am free, I am financially free. When we say this, that I am, this is when we are bringing, we are directing vibrational frequency into our own being, into our own magnetic field, and into our own life. This is how we direct vibrational frequency and direct our word. So when we say I am directing my frequency into myself to manifest something external. Also known as the chi or the prana. It's just basically your magnetic energy. So speaking has the ability to change your genes and DNA expressions. When we listen to affirmations over and over and say them over and over for a long period of time, your genes will change. And your genes are a code for your external world, pretty much. Anything that is written in your genes will manifest into your external world. Okay? All of this is just done by your intentions, thoughts, and what you say. And if you think this is a conspiracy theory was a term invented by the CIA to discredit, confuse, ridicule, and disqualify any alternative information that contradicted the mainstream narrative. That's what a conspiracy theory was. It was created by the CIA for any belief that went against their mainstream narrative. Hollywood, the biggest spellcasting scheme cult in the world. Hollywood. I'm going to make a whole lecture on this. Hollywood is holy wood, which comes from a holly tree, which the ancient Phoenicians and magicians used to take the holy wood. It was called holy wood because it was the best wood to make wands out of and cast spells. That's why they get their name. And what is the films? All the films, all the music that comes out of Hollywood, it's all a form of magic, subconscious spells to fill your mind with ideology, fill your mind with this narrative. That's what they're doing through the movies and the music. Anyways, I hope you like this lecture. Thank you all for joining the Real University. I hope you're all learning a lot here and looking forward to making some more awareness for you and more knowledge. Have an amazing day, people. What are we all doing, people? Survival wisdom. Today we're going to be breaking down the Bible and its real, true metaphysical meaning. All of these slides within this video is taken from my book, The Book of Wisdom. So you can get all of these slides. So the Temple of Solomon, you are body, mind, and soul, which is the Holy Trinity, the moon, sun, and earth. The sun is your soul because the sun is its infinite source of energy. It is its own source of energy. And that is what your soul is. It's its own source of energy. The moon is mind. This is why you call people a lunatic. You're a lunatic. Luna means the moon. And inside of your mind, you have a specific mood. Mood is moon. And mind in German is Mond. And the word Mond means moon. And earth is your physical body because your body contains of the four elements, the four physical elements. Well, the Temple of Solomon is the temple of the soul and the mon, the soul and the mon, the soul and the mind. And it's the temple of the Holy Spirit in the Bible. Everything leads back to one singular point in the center of the brain. The brain is not the mind. It's mind over matter. Okay? The brain is the physical manifestation of the mind. The brain is the electrical computer which decodes the light waves given to it by the mind. This is why everything in the body leads back to one singular point. And we'll go over this in a bit. But this is controlling the physical body. This is the within. If you rearrange within, it spells high twin, because within you is your twin, your true self. And it's just an entity in the center of the mind. And if you shut your eyes, you can feel it. Your awareness is in the center of the brain. So there's just an empty chamber in the center of the two cherubs, the two brains. They are two separate brains. They're two hemispheres. And the empty chamber, when scientists chop it up and see it's just an empty chamber, well, because you can't see in that plane of reality. You cannot see the mind. You cannot see thoughts. It is invisible to the human eyes, to the visible light spectrum, to the two eyes. The reason why we call it the third eye in the center of the brain, it's not the third eye, it's your true self. It's the mind and soul. It's an eye because it does see. It's the all-seeing eye that you always see here. There's some Masonic artwork showing the two pillars, the two cherubs, the two hemispheres of the brain, and the inner eye. This is the eye that sees all things. What do I mean by seeing all things? Not physically. It sees the mind. Because your soul is watching the mind. You can observe the mind. You are not the mind. And if you meditate deeply enough, you can go beyond the mind. It's the all-seeing eye. It sees the mind. It sees what emotions you're feeling. It sees what you're thinking. It sees what you're seeing with the two eyes. It's the all-seeing eye. It sees all things. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere. Because the mind can be anywhere. The mind can switch itself into any place it wants. There is no limitations with the mind. So there is two hemispheres in the brain. And in the Bible, there is a quote saying the most holy place between the two cherubs. The two cherubs is the two hemispheres of the brain, and the most holy place is between them, which is what the Masonic artwork is showing. This is the all-seeing eye, the soul and the mind in the center of the brain. And you will not see this with the two eyes. So when scientists come to seeing the empty chamber in the center of the brain, they wonder because they do not understand the occult side of the world. They do not understand the layers of reality. How the two eyes, everything physical comes from the unseen. Everything seen comes from the unseen. Now, the two hemispheres of the brain play a major role in our lives. The right hemisphere is the artist. The left hemisphere is the scientist. The right hemisphere controls the left side of the body. The left hemisphere controls the right side. So there's a crossover. Now, the right hemisphere is to do with your feminine energy, creativity, unification, metaphors, visualization, intuition. The left hemisphere is to do with sequencing, facts, materialistic details, language, and logic. So they keep us normally trapped within the male aspect of our mind, which is the left hemisphere. You know, if you listen to Spotify, Apple Music, and radio, they're all tuned to 440 hertz, which shuts down the right side of the brain, makes you left brain dominant. And we learn, well, 90% of people learn to write with their right hand. They're taught to learn with their right hand, which is to do with the left brain. You see, so we are being trapped within this left side of the brain, which is all to do with logic, thinking logical, not creative. You know, very analytic. But the right side of the brain is to do with your creativity. So the right side of the brain is perceiving reality as a holistic perception. Know what I mean? If you're riding through a woods, for example, if you're riding through a woods, your right hemisphere is seeing the whole woods as one unified woods. The left hemisphere's job is to break down the perception given to it by the right hemisphere and break it down into individual trees. So what am I saying? The right hemisphere is seeing humans and everything in creation as one unified consciousness. The left hemisphere is seeing individual egos. This is why the left hemisphere is the place of the ego, the right hemisphere is to do with the higher self. They're both needed, though. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's balance. Now, they don't want you to see the unified perception of creation. They want you to think everything is individual, everything doesn't come from the one, because all things come from the one. And we experience the two in this reality, dualism. In order to understand the one, we have to experience the two to advance. So, anyways, let's get away from the two hemispheres. The right hemisphere, like I said, is to do with the higher self. And this is why in John 21:6, it says, cast the net onto the right-hand side of the boat and you will find fish. Meaning, cast your energy, cast your perception into the right hemisphere of the brain, and you will find God, unification, and higher self. You will see things from a unified perspective. How we are all one, because we are all the same consciousness. The same spark that is in me is in you. This is why I am you and you are me. We are all the all-seeing eyes of God, just split up into individual bodies. We are all made up of the same essence, consciousness. And that consciousness, that mind and soul, is in the center of the brain. You are just in different avatars. And until we see this, we'll forever be divided and conquered. Until we figure this out as a collective consciousness, we will forever be divided and conquered and ruled over. This is why the Bible says, ye are gods. You are the sons of the Most High, because we are. We are the Word made flesh. We are God made flesh. Mark 16:19. So then after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven, head is heaven, H-E-A, and sat on the right hand of God. God is the consciousness in the center of the brain. Heaven is the head, and the right hand of God is the right hemisphere of the brain, meaning he sees things in unification, creativity, intuition, the higher mind, the higher brain. When Moses crosses the Red Sea is the corpus callosum, moving from the left to the right hemisphere of the brain to see unified perception of reality. Head, H-E-A, heaven, same root word. This is why the ancients always depict God in the center of the brain. Here you see ancient Christian artwork showing God in the center of the brain, the light. Here you see it here. Here you see Ganesh, an Indian god, which is the brain. Here you see the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the dome, the brain. This is the brain, because you are God made flesh. That's what consciousness is. The upper room where Jesus meets the 12 disciples. It's the upper brain on the upper room. The upper room is the chamber, the empty chamber in the center of the brain. That's the room. And the 12 disciples are the 12 cranial nerves in the brain, which pretty much rule the body, all the cranial nerves. The tree of life, the cardiovascular system. This is why in Genesis it says the tree of life was in the midst of the garden. Midst meaning middle, because the middle of the body is the cardiovascular system, which is controlling all of the systems in the body. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is the nervous system. It's the spine and brain. This is what's detecting good and evil. The brain is the electrical computer with the left and the right hemisphere, decoding the dualistic world, decoding the light waves given to it by the external world. It is an electromagnetic computer. It is artificial intelligence. It is very intelligent, the brain and the nervous system, the human body as a whole. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the nervous system, because it is the tree that detects good and evil, makes you learn good and evil in this dualistic reality. Here you see Adam and Eve around the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve, male and female energies, but the serpent in the tree, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Well, this is the spine, the brain, and the serpent is the kundalini of the spine. The serpent is the S. That's why S, serpent, the letter S is the serpent. Sex and serpents make an S noise. You know, the Bible cursed the serpent. So we don't figure out the true religion. The true religion is raising the kundalini and becoming God-man and reaching our higher states, our true God self. Because once the kundalini is saved and hits the pineal gland, it activates 100% of the brain, when we're only using around 20 to 10% as of right now without the kundalini awakening. So when you use it, you're activating 100% of the brain. You're activating all the dormant brain cells. You're regenerating the body. And this is the serpent in the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is the spine, brain. This is Adam, Eve, the male and female energies. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if thine eye be single, thy whole body should be full of light. Matthew 6:22. This is the single eye in the center of the brain. It is not the pineal gland. It is what's inside the pineal gland. You have to go beyond the physical world, and there are no words to describe things that are not physical, metaphysics. and the whole body should be full of light. Well, this light is the same pyramid that you see. You are the pyramid with the all-seeing eye on top. This is why the ancients built the pyramids with the stairs in the middle symbolizing the spine, because once you open all the chakras and balance them and raise the kundalini, you activate all of the brain, which gives enlightenment. The word enlight in ment. Ment means mind, light in the mind, enlighten the mind. And this is enlightenment. We are the temple. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face. Within spells high twin. Within you is the God self, which you need to manifest into the external world. And he's seen God in Peniel, the consciousness. He's seen his true self, consciousness in the pineal gland. Genesis 28:10, Jacob's ladder. Jacob, he took a rock there and laid his head on it to sleep. Jacob had a dream. He dreamed there was a ladder that was on the ground and reached up into heaven. Head is heaven. The rock he fell asleep on is the sacrum bone, because he's symbolizing the oil that comes down the spine, hits the sacrum bone and rests there, falls asleep, and it looks up and it sees the ladder to heaven. Because when you raise this oil, you become God man. You become God in heaven. You can leave the body at will. Do you not know that your body is the temple? That your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit? Corinthians 16:19-20. Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you? Your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, the soul and the mind within, the center of the brain, the temple of Solomon, temple of the soul and the mind. Romans 8:10. Christ is in you. It's not external. When you give where attention goes, energy flows. When you give your energy to external things, your attention, your worship to external things, you're giving energy, meaning it's draining you, and you're feeding something within the astral plane, a mental thought within the astral plane. So with you realizing that the Christ is in you, that you don't have to worship anything outside of you, this means that you're internalizing your energy. You're not giving your energy, because where attention goes, energy flows, which means you become more present. You become healthier because you're not giving off all of your special electromagnetic energy that's charging you. This is why the religions run by the Vatican is all external. They're exoteric. Exoteric means external teachings. The esoteric is the internal, the hidden teachings. In Psalms 82, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, because we are the Most High, split up into individual bodies. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is the Most High, and we have to raise ourselves to the Most High. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Why is it always a trio? It's a trio because it symbolizes us, the soul, mind, and body. The mind is the bridge for the soul to be in the body. What is the soul? It's the life force. It's the watcher. It's the all-seeing eye. The soul sees into different realities, and it gives life to the body of every reality it goes in. This is why you always see light around the all-seeing eye, because it is the energy, the life force, the light, life, L-I. Life is light, and it's the eye because it sees into the different realities. It sees into the dream world. When you're going to sleep at night and you dream, it's not a dream. It's another reality. You're a multi-dimensional creature. We live in a multiverse. There's infinite amount of yous. And there is a version of you which is the highest self in a reality somewhere. And this eye has the ability to switch realities, which is exactly what astral travel is. Astral travel is the ability to switch reality beyond the 3D construct of this world. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The Brahma, the soul, inhabits different bodies. This is why they have different heads. Vishnu, the mind, symbolizing gnosis, meaning knowledge. This is the serpent. The serpent symbolized knowledge. Shiva, the body. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The bird, the soul, because the bird symbolizes the soul. This is why you have here the Egyptians showing you the soul leaving the body. Here you see here with the twin head, the same head, and it's a bird. This is the soul self. This is the ego self. The Egyptians knew this. They knew all of this. Of course they did. Now, the whole story of Jesus is all metaphorical for the process which goes on within your body. Your neck and head is the Holy Grail, which the sun and the moon creates. Sorry, the sun and the moon creates the fluid within the Holy Grail, the brain, the skull. And the moon creates the milk. Sorry, the moon makes the milk. The sun makes the honey, the land flowing with milk and honey in the Bible. The land flowing with milk and honey is the center of the brain in the Holy Grail. Here you see the Masonic artwork showing you the sun and the moon creating the fluid in the spine. Here's the serpent. Serpent symbolizing the two Kundalini channels, the Ida Pingala up the spine. Here's the furnace raising the Kundalini, raising the oil, heating it up and rising it to the crown. You see? So here you see more Masonic art, seeing the sun and the moon creating the holy fluid in the brain, in the cup, filling the cup. This is why it's a cup, because it's the Holy Grail. This is the holy oil in the center of the brain that gets released down the spine, which is Jesus coming down from heaven. He comes down the spine, down the River Jordan in the Bible. This is when Jesus goes from Nazareth to Jerusalem. He comes down the River Jordan, and Joseph and Mary are in Nazareth waiting for Jesus' return. Joseph and Mary symbolize the pineal and pituitary gland, which produce the two oils created by the sun and the moon. And he returns. When he returns, he gets crucified at 33 because there's 33 vertebrae at the back of the spine, and it crosses the vagus nerve. The crucifixion of the oil past 33 vertebrae creates God-man, and it creates your higher self, and it activates 100% of the brain. And you turn into spirit, you turn to your spirit self. This is why Jesus dies. He didn't physically die, it metaphorically dies and becomes his higher self. The ego self is left behind. It's the same with the whole story of Jesus. Jesus comes down from heaven, which is the oil. He dies in a cave for 3 days, which is the oil in the cave. Here's the cave, and resurrects after 3 days. If you resurrect the oil, comes up and gets crucified at 33 in Golgotha. Golgotha translates to a place in the skull. The three wise men from the east. Well, if you look at the Masonic artwork, they'll always show you a ladder up to the east. Okay. Here you see north, south, west. This would be east. Here you see east here. East here. The ladder up to the east. The east is the top, up. Three wise men from the east, the thalamus, pituitary, and pineal gland in the center of the brain. The most important glands in the body. Here you see the Egyptians with the spine, the sun, and the two hemispheres of the brain. What did I say at the beginning? The sun is the soul. The sun is its own source of energy. It's the life force, which gives life to anything it inhabits. The soul is the same thing. That's why sun and soul mean the same thing. So, what I'm saying is consciousness is God. And this is why when it refers to as God in the Bible, it means your higher self, pretty much. And returning back to this higher self, because God is something that you need to manifest. Consciousness is God, and your body is a reflection of the creation by God. This is why everything in the body corresponds with the stars. The stars rule the body. We are an image of the stars. This body is an image of the whole of creation. Aries rules the head. This is the cerebrum. The ram in the brain is the ram, Aries. And we have something called the cerebrum. The cerebrum, Aries, the ram. This is the Lamb of God moving to the higher mind. Taurus, which is the lower brain and neck. The cerebellum, the bull Taurus, the lower mind. And the cerebrum and the cerebellum, the ram and the bull, is what makes you ramble on. Ramble meaning walking. The higher mind and the lower mind working together makes the body ramble. Ramble is what makes you walk along. Thank you to Santos Bonacci. Gemini, the two twins, rules the two arms, the hands, and the lungs. These are the two twins of the body. Sagittarius, the horse, which rules the hips. Hips means hippo. Hippo means horse. Hippopotamus means water horse. Hippo means horse, and this is why we call them hips, because horses have massive hips. Capricorn, the kneecaps. Pisces, the two fish, the 2 feet. Then they make us swim. We are an image of the stars, people. Well, the body is anyway. Consciousness is God, and the body is the image of the whole of creation. It's a reflection of the whole creation, as above, so below. 12 systems in the body, 12 cranial nerves for the 12 constellations, 12 cell salts. The body's made out of 12 cell salts. So this is where it gets kind of deep. This is where we get deep. And he said Jesus was known as the fisher of man. And fisher of man, meaning man does not mean man as in the male. Man means mind. He's the fisher of minds. So the Bible is not patriarchal. It's not patriarchal. Man just means mind, pretty much. So the fisher of mind, man, because he was fishing minds out of this reality into the higher realities. He was teaching people how to leave the body when he walks on water. Walking on water is the physical, etheric, astral, and mental. These are the different planes of reality. The ether is the either, because the ether is the substance that's on either side, astral and physical. It's the fifth element, is ether. And the fifth element is the water, the same water at the beginning of the Bible when it says, let the firmament divide from the waters above from below. The water symbolizes the ether. It's the base of all physical matter. And the ether is known as the water. So when you're walking on water, you're walking on the ether, meaning you're leaving the physical body. So when Jesus walks on water and he's teaching Paul to walk on water, Paul becomes scared and falls back into the water. Well, when you astral travel and you become scared when you're projecting, you'll fall back into your body. So he's pretty much saying walking on water is leaving the body, and walking on the ether, because the ether is the veil between the astral, and that's what devil means. Devil has the word veil in it, because the devil is trapping you between one veil, which is this world. They're trapping you in this world, this thin layer of reality. Your dreams are different veils. The ether, the astral, the mental are different veils. Devil is the veil. The veil. You need to escape being stuck in one reality and live in between realities. And this is when you truly become a multi-dimensional being, because your soul is just the eye. That's what you are. You're just an eye, and you see into different worlds. And it also, when Jesus means the fisher of man, the fisher of minds, I truly believe, because of my research, that there is other worlds. It's not just this one. There's higher worlds. There's an infinite amount of you, and you've been in them dreams. You call dreams. Them dreams are other realities that you are in. That's why when you're there, you don't feel like you're in a dream. You feel like it's 100% real, because it is real. So this is why the ancients always depicted the many different heads, because there's many different versions of you. And this I, the soul, the watcher, is switching itself into different bodies at all times. Well, when you sleep, when you astral project. And this is what the ancients were doing. They understood the multiverse, and they could switch bodies at will. And this is what the 7 seals are in the Bible, also known as the 7 chakras. These are literally portals within us to these different worlds. We're in the heart at the moment, Earth, rearranged spells heart, meaning middle. This is where good and evil exist. It's the middle point, the midpoint of realities. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. All of this knowledge that I've give you in this video is inside of my book, the Book of Wisdom. The Book of Wisdom gets updated every single month with new pages. It's a one-time payment for a lifetime worth of research and knowledge by me. So if you do want to get it, the link will be in the description. But I hope you will gain some amazing insight. Please like, comment, and share to help the algorithm, and drop a subscription. And for more lectures, every 2 days, I drop lectures and knowledge within the Patreon. If you want to support the channel, join the Patreon. Everything's in the description, because we are not monetized on YouTube. Thank you all. Have an amazing day.
There is a secret meaning behind the number 666. 666.
Okay, everyone, this has been a long video, but I'm going to, on that note, leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.